Pam's put them on it.
I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you're doing this, both of you.
Oh, you're such a faithful fan. Bless you. I've had about 5 friends email me that they couldn't. Every Tuesday, the New York Times has a section on science, and often there are fascinating things. I recommend checking it out. There was one about evolution that intrigued me, so I had to write a poem about that, evolution. Poppies have shed their petals on the garden path. Now the roses rise up, branch out, and blossom. There was once a world without flowers, a world without wings, only an eye spot where later an eye would be. I wonder at the long, refining chain of changes that brought forth the first wild rose, reshaped the finch's beak, and these reeds shimmering on the surface of the pond. At what point did they acquire their confident green grace? Wasn't I once young and childless, my own slow evolution yet to come, the growing of a wing and this late flight? A couple of years ago, I decided that I really needed to read the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey. I don't know what sparked that, but anyway, I did. And I tried several translations and didn't like them, and finally hit on Robert Fitzgerald's. So if you haven't read Robert Fitzgerald's translation of the Odyssey, I recommend it as one of the all-time best books there is.
When did that come out? When did he publish that?
When did Fitzgerald's translation? I don't know.
Okay, I was just wondering.
But Jenny can get it for you. it's just the greatest adventure story. It's fabulous. And Fitzgerald caught it, and Athena is gray-eyed. That was one thing. I knew she had to be gray-eyed, and she is in Fitzgerald's. And so I was intrigued, but of course it's a male story completely. It's a man's adventure, and exciting and all that. But there was Penelope still back on the shores, taking care of the land and the child, and being faithful forever, on, year after year. And I thought, too, then about the women whose husbands go off to Iraq or Afghanistan, and what happens to their lives and their love. How do they keep it alive? And how do they stay faithful? And how do they believe in that? So I wanted to write a poem about Penelope. So the middle of this book, there is a fairly long, I won't read it all, I'll just read a couple of stanzas because it's several pages long. But I did want to mention it, and it's written in Penelope's voice because I was trying to get into her head, how she managed. And it's called the Woolen Shroud because she was weaving a shroud for her husband's father who was he was dying, and he would need this beautiful shroud. The Woolen Shroud. Never could I have done it, lived so long, loving this man above all others, a man long absent from my side, my arms, my bed, save for imagination. Less than 3 years we lived as man and wife before he left for Troy, drawn by the evil scent of battle. Now comes another dawn like those I knew, the sea wine dark as rosy-fingered light creeps across my terrace, awakening me. 60 summers I have known, and now I reminisce about those lonely years when I kept faith, imagined love alive. One autumn day, my husband sailed away to join the others bent on crushing Ilium. 8 years went by, and not a word had come to say if he was living yet or fell there on that foreign shore, or if Poseidon had swamped his ship and taken him down below. Well, and it goes on. But it was such a pleasure to work on that after reading the Fitzgerald. I spent many long hours writing and loving working on it. And as Penelope waited on the beach in Greece, I walked down on my beach and on occasion, and this poem is called Bonaparte Gulls. You know, they're the little, very white ones. Bonaparte Gulls. It was windy and bright when I walked the beach this morning. After I'd ventured as far as I could in each direction, I settled down on a driftwood log and watched the Bonaparte gulls fly over the bay, a handful of paper scraps tossed in the air. Now and then one would plunge headfirst into the waves, then quickly surface. I couldn't tell if they caught anything, they were too far away. I'd like it to catch me unawares when it comes, to be quick like that. Three-part invention. How the body loves the familiar. An old sweater almost out at the elbows, the well-worn shoes, the bed that beckons your bones. While the restless mind is a footloose traveler, eager for any new adventure. Give it a book, a map, some news, and it's off to Afghanistan, Cairo, the moon, a cafe on the banks of the Ebro. And what of the heart, that inconstant wraith? One day it won't even leave the house. The next, it slips into someone's pocket, lies tucked in the gift wrap of a book, wears camouflage in a phrase. Just a couple more. Birthdays are kind of a big deal when you get as old as I am. They're a big deal anyway. They're a big deal for children. I think they're a big deal for all of us. And we would like there to be a comet that night of our birthday, or we would like, I don't know, something extraordinary to happen, and of course it doesn't. So a few years ago, I was thinking about that, and I wrote this. Soon it will come. Soon it will come, your birthday, and nothing shocking will happen. It will be a day like any other, some clouds in the sky, wind threading itself through the alder trees, a few robins in the grass. There'll be milk for your morning oatmeal and time for 2 cups of coffee. Later, you'll go for a walk. Perhaps someone you know will drive by and wave. You'll notice things, how the last storm brought down branches and twigs, left them broken where they fell by the side of the roadway. And as you are walking, you will know yourself to be a thread in the great and beautiful fabric, wherever you are, a thread on the moving loom, weaving your colors in alongside all the others, doing the daily work that comes to your hands, singing deep within you the music of praise. On the back of the book, this was Dan's choice to put a poem on the back. So I think this would be a good one as a conclusion. Strange how you stay. Strange how you may stay in one place, say a house facing a stand of alders, and yet are carried forward. Stay in one place, but not in that time, not in the years that meant so much to you, that were your happiest years. How you were helplessly carried onward. It has come hard to me, this knowledge. I have had to practice to do it, to swallow silently the losses, while I hold close what the heart has claimed. Now the trees have entered their winter silence. In the garden, one foolhardy yellow rose is blooming still. Thank you very much.